Oh, it's that time again to give you lovely people some more of this fine, high-quality 40K content.
Yeah, we want you to inject that stuff right in your veins.
You handed me a baggie when I came in. A baggie full of that plastic crack.
I was going to say, what was in said baggie?
It is a literal tiny baggie. I'm not going to ask where you got said tiny baggie from.
What's up, NSA handler who's listening to this? DEA agent tracing the phone call.
Do you watch the bleeping news?
There's some
It's between you and me, not you, me, and the NSA.
crazy stuff out there. I don't know.
I'm Shane. That's Casey.
I am Casey.
We're 40K Fanatics. We're going to talk about various things. Today is a big day. It's a lore pod, and it's about the Warmaster himself. I kind of feel like we've covered him.
You know, and we've covered a good chunk. But as a, I'm going to put a little bit of a, what do they call it? A disclaimer on the front of this. Go back and listen to some of our stuff, because I'm going to gloss over a few things that are pretty important, such as the Siege of Terra and Horus falling to chaos a little bit, so that we can, get through this pod and make it less than an hour. So, and, that'll get us more downloads.
It's going to be less than an hour, because
It's going to be great.
am sleepy.
You do seem sleepy. Have you been golfing today?
No, I haven't done anything all week.
I've been going nonstop, so it's a pretty polarity there,
Indeed.
Man.
Open up the bits box, because we need to talk about what we've been doing in the hobby.
What have you been doing, Shane?
Everything.
Okay, bits box
Everything.
closed, done. My turn.
The Shane home game space is officially open for business.
Oh, really? You got the terrain? You got all the stuff?
I got the terrain. I got all the stuff. The homie Austin came through Monday, and we played Kill Team. This is his second time playing Kill Team.
Nice.
And go ahead and put it on the list. Next week, we're going to talk about how to teach a game.
Yes, we do need to go over and teach me Kill Team, because there's some stuff that's going on in which now I actually have to learn Kill Team, and I'm going to have Shane teach me in spite of me being stubborn. So,
Anyway, this is the second time that Austin's played Kill Team with me.
Really?
And the first time we limited the rules a little bit. We did not play with all the secondary
How'd it
objectives. He doesn't like Kill Team is his the opinion that he's leaning
it's
toward.
not his main.
So the thing is that both times I've played my Legionary Kill Team, and the deal with Kill Team is you kind of like pilot a Kill Team. You don't really play it like an army per se. It sort of does what it does, and then if you want it to do something different, you pick a different Kill Team within some parameters. But he played the Guard Kill Team this time, and he had 14 bodies, which is a lot for a skirmish game of any sort, but especially Kill Team. And I knew he was bringing Guard and therefore a lot of bodies, so I made shooty Space Marines.
Very anti-infantry, lots of AP1.
Man, it wasn't just that. We were shooting them to death, and then we could charge in and kill two of them in a turn.
Oof.
It was brutal. And the thing is, we'll talk about this more when we get to the main topic of next week's thing, but it's an impossible game to do right the first time.
Yes.
There's too much going on. And it's like, if I just stood there and gave you all the places that, sort of, if I told you where all the bodies are buried, you would not be able to remember them. And then you would not be able to play the game in any kind of
check the
sensible
lamp
way. But we did that Tuesday night. The homie Lane came through. He brought his MCP, Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, and we played that. And I again lost. I have still yet to win Marvel Crisis Protocol. But then we rolled up the Shatterpoint and played it, and it was quite good. I did manage to win the Shatterpoint in a fairly close game, but Shatterpoint, by its design, likes to be really, really close. So that was a lot of fun. Just got in the mail today as of recording. We're recording on a Thursday, and last week we recorded on a Tuesday. Day. Today's the leap day?
Today's a leap day.
Wow.
February 29th, 2024.
Don't plan an anniversary episode for this show.
4 years from now. Let's go.
If we're still doing it by then, there better be a lot of you listening.
If I'm not dead by then, I'll be so disappointed.
But what was I saying? Oh, we just got in the mail a whole 10 Judge Dredd like citizen mob.
Yes, and check out the photos next Wednesday for that whip because it looks nice.
Oh yeah, so that's the City Defense Force guy. So it's going to be posted
Next week.
in a few days after this comes out. Yes, and next Wednesday
Yes.
for you people. That dude it absolutely takes home weaponry that he is not supposed to from the City Defense Force.
Really?
Oh yeah, he just looks like that guy.
I like him. He looks, if I could compare like one of the guards from Rivet City on Fallout 4, or maybe one of the Vault security guards from Fallout 3.
Yeah, those guys were never corrupt or bro dudes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Spot on, right?
it's his big mustache that tells you that he thinks the strippers like him.
It's so weird when you see, like, I don't want to say political opinions against cops, but when you see a guy with a mustache, he's either wicked evil or, and I'm talking people in general, like old school cartoons and stuff. You see a guy with a mustache, he's either a triumphing paladin of justice or a dirty, like conniving mother. So just putting that out there.
Yeah, well, the City Defense Force are
Twirls mustache.
They are full of those dudes. That's what I've got for the Bits box. Of course, there is also when I go home tonight, I'm going to Zenithal my Chaos Sorcerer in Terminator armor.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to mix up a light blue Zinchian ink to then spray him with, and that will be his base coat. I also left the head off of him because I'm going to try to put a glow behind his head.
Interesting.
I'm trying new stuff, expanding my horizons. Also, Milliput can do one. I don't like it.
You don't like
I don't like it. So the Judge Dredd minis, they have a little plinth that they're stood on, like their feet are attached to a little oval, and then they go onto these little tiny pie plate, like 28 millimeter nothing bases. So you've got to build that up, or else you end up with this divot.
I'm just going to take a moment to say, you know how I was just saying that people with mustaches can be either really good or really evil? I just choked on a mustache hair. So clearly my mustache is evil.
Or it doesn't like you talking bad about it.
It's revenge. So stupid, but continue.
So anyway, I've had to mix up my Milliput and try to build up these bases so that they end up flat when I'm done. And I don't like it.
People really like Milliput. A lot of people.
I don't like sculpting, I think.
That could be it.
I don't think. And also, I don't like how I'm trying to sculpt to a couple of things, right? I'm trying to sculpt to the edge. I'm trying to sculpt up to the thing without covering it.
Fair.
It's turning out fine, but it's not any fun. It feels like work.
I stick to the green stuff, if I'm being honest, but fingerprints, you know? You really got to work hard not to get fingerprints in that. And then after you're painting it, it still kind of looks fingerprinted.
I'm not using my fingers.
The moment of silence is making it worse. What are you using, Shane?
I'm using large-handled implements with lube applied to the end.
I'm going to die. We're 3 here. Oh, anyways. Shane no likey Milliput.
No.
Stick to green stuff. I'm so stupid. Anyways, so that's your bits box?
That's it.
That's it. Okay. So a lot of stuff happened in the hobby this week for your boy and for the community at large. I believe today, Warhammer and Games Workshop have announced the LV Open dates. Our nearest one is actually in Dallas mid-May.
No.
No, you don't want to go?
Hell no.
6 hour drive, man. Not that big a deal.
A 6-hour drive to do what?
Play 40K.
How long?
2.5 days.
With how many people?
Ooh, probably a lot. But you get free swag.
they can keep it.
Free swag. Wow. Yeah. I wrote down the price.
I got money.
$164 for a standard ticket for 40K.
The tryhards and the sweaty boys will be out there in force.
It's a lot.
And for what? For why? Look,
to be ranked.
I'm gonna get on my soapbox again. Here I go.
Oh no, take it away. Take the soapbox away. This is my Bitsbox, sir.
How much was the ticket?
Standard is like 164, and I think that
$170.
The premium stuff. No, that's with ship. That it's 145, but then like $6 or $7 service fee and like a $12.50 something tax.
Okay,
which that seems outrageous to me.
All right, kids. For those of you that are trying to become the Pokemon master of 40K. If you're taking this real serious, I want you to calm down.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Do some math with me here, all right? We're going to do quick math, all right? A Dallas hotel room that you want to stay in, that you're going to be able to keep the glass in your car,
middle of May, is
going to cost you $200 a night.
Oh, 100%.
At least.
That's why you stay at a campsite.
You're going to be a real sweaty, stinky boy. In the middle of May in Dallas at a campsite. And also, where's this campsite? You going to drive an hour and a half into town at the butt crack of dawn to go play your round one?
Got to see nature, man.
No.
Nature.
None of that makes any sense. What I'm saying is, kids,
$12 for a campsite, just saying.
You go spend 3 days in Dallas to play this tournament that costs you $170 to be in. Your models cost what they cost. Okay?
Keep a lock on them.
What's the grand prize?
Oh, you know, I actually didn't look.
Right, for this $1,000 trip.
But you will like this. They're also doing the Grand Narrative this year, and it is not going to be 40K. It is going to be Kill Team for the Grand Narrative. So that's going to be sweet. Some Warhammer lore being influenced by Kill Team and not 40K.
Yeah, I like that.
That's cool.
I have not seen any interest in the new Kill Team stuff, where they're like on the planet with the pit in the middle or whatever.
I don't know anything about that.
The kill zone with the pit in the middle.
I just like the Night Lords. I'm okay with the Kroot, and then the Scouts, the Space Marine Primaris Scouts look dope. Anyway, moving on. So we've also got a little competition between me and Shane going on. So we both took, and I hate that I did this so last minute, but we both took an orc from my paint desk that I had primed recently. They are both kit bashed knobs that I had taken from the Assault on Blackreach box that I got around 2008. Kit bashed and made them look a little bit modern, cleaned them up a bit, primed them, and we both painted them. Spent the last week painting them, and now we're going to post pictures of them later. But Shane, opinions.
Yeah, so how does this work?
Let's just say,
are we giving the people a blind test?
Yeah, I guess a blind quickie.
Then we can't talk about them.
Oh, you're right. You're right. We will post photos of these models. We both did pretty well.
Now, what we'll have to do is, just like last time when we did our Nurgle one, we're going to post them on the socials. You guys are going to vote on which one you like best. You won't know whose is whose, and then we will reveal the results and comment on one another's work.
Yeah, go to all of our socials. I'll try to post as often as I can about them, and let us know what you think of the comments and say which one you think is better.
Now, I won last time.
Can you? Yes, you did, you braggart. You're a braggart after one game and you're bragging. No,
that's not what I'm saying.
I'm kidding. I know you're not bragging.
I'm saying I'm worried about you.
What about me? Oh, that's true.
I'm looking out for you, boo boo.
If you ever seen that Monsters University scene where they're like, yeah, if you guys lose, nobody will ever let you live it down, and they're like, yeah, but if we win, nobody's gonna make you ever live it down. So I've been painting orcs for years, and if he beats me, I'm probably going to go out back and go old Yeller on myself. So, yeah.
You're going to have to switch to painting something else.
I'm going to sell my whole army.
Have to buy some Tau.
Oh, dude, don't make me do that. Anyways, yeah, isn't it interesting how these guys are like roughly 15 years old, around there? Like, man, 2008. Seems like yesterday. from the Assault on Blackreach starter box.
Yeah, I bet on GM to survive the auto bailout, and then Ford did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, GM got down to $4, and Ford got down to $2. And so I thought, well, surely, if one of these is not going to be worth anything, it would be the one that's $2, and I was incorrect.
I just remember Halo 3, Obama, Recession, Ice Storm, and a few other things. That's it. Like catchphrases. You know, just like buzzwords. Honestly, that's my whole memory of that year.
Your memories are just I Love the 70s VH1 episode.
Basically. To end that, we are now about to start painting a Space Marine. Each of us are going to take a Space Marine, an Ultramarine successor for March for McCrag in the coming month. We will post photos of him, and you guys, again, will decide who the winner is. We'll randomly post them. You guys say which one looks better. We will reveal who painted what, and you guys decide.
We're not letting the homie Cody in on this one, are we?
Actually, he will be taking photos of our orcs for us, for our socials, and for us to post on the internet.
Because I'm just going to be honest, we cannot paint Space Marines against that dude.
Yeah, he's your true blue Ultra Smurf boy.
Yeah, man, we can't mess with him.
And we also played it. We already talked about our RTT, didn't we?
We did.
We did. So never mind. Scratch that. That's everything we've got, guys. So without further ado, Shane, shut that bits box. Oh my god.
Well, that's why you do the sound effects.
Sound effects provided by Shane. Nevermore.
Tell us about that boy.
We're talking about the boy, the big boy, the Mac Daddy of Chaos himself, the father of father issues, Horus Lupercal today.
Is that his name?
Yep, that is his name, Horus Lupercal.
Where do these guys get these names?
You know, it depends. Usually they either get it from their foster parents or they made it up. There's only one, maybe two Primarchs. Yeah, I'm going to say two Primarchs who actually knew their true name that the Emperor gave them before they got yeeted out into the universe. So, Horus's story starts like everybody else's. He was a baby in his gene pod. Chaos goes, "That's my drugs," and yeets them off into the universe. The Emperor had to play his little fetch quest and find all the Primarchs.
He had to assemble the Dragon Balls.
Yes, but here is the interesting part. Horus is known as the first found. The oldest son, his first son. And there's some debate about how he was found, or actually a little bit of debate, depending on if he was the first. So everyone knows Horus was the first, and he was found on a planet called Chthoniya, which was actually just outside of our solar system.
He was not thrown very far.
No, he really wasn't. They were practically already talking to the planet and went out there and were like, whoa, you got some roided up, like, 10-year-old going around killing people? So, let's pick him up. He's got his thumb out. There's debate about how he found it. The going theory was that he grew up on this planet, and it was basically a mining planet. You could literally see it from orbit, and it was just honeycombed with empty mines. Big hive world. Just like the worst hive world you ever thought. And he grew up against, around gangers, hive scum, people who scraped whatever they could to survive together. And just, beat each other, killed each other for just, the bare necessities. His dad was his foster father, I should say, was the head of a gang there. And, again, this story is up for some debate because, well, the Imperium loves that black ink. Can't find that much in the 41st millennium about this stuff, Especially after Horus went all, So, Horus hears some shenanigans going on in the next neighborhood. Goes over, finds his gene capsule that he, was left as a baby. Some AdMech dudes were poking around in there looking for toasters. And Horus killed one of them and saw the gene capsule and was having epiphanies, stole one of their weapons and went back to his dad. Was like, Dad, there's some weirdos over there trying to look for toasters. He's like, you idiot, they're going to follow us over here. So that's when the Admech came in with all their tunneling stuff and their mining stuff, started blowing the place to crap. And on Chthoniya, they have a come-of-age thing, kind of like a bar mitzvah or a quinceañera. Around your teenage years, you need to murder someone to prove that you are an adult.
Because this is Sparta.
Yeah. So
I feel like we've had that before.
Yeah.
Wasn't there another Primarch we had that with?
Well, we talked about Mortarion. We talked about Lionel Johnson. I don't think.
Well, anyway.
So his dad offers himself up because they're all going to die anyways.
Because the Admech are coming for revenge.
Yeah, and the whole place is collapsing. Rocks are falling on people left and right. And boy, oh boy, does he smash his face in. Kills him. Admech show up, and he's just like, whoa. I just woke up that other, like, half of my brain, and I'm a Primarch. It's a weird origin story, and honestly, there's not really anything about it. I barely found what I am telling you right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Emperor comes, picks him up, takes him to Terra, or maybe he doesn't. Again, like I said, hard to find anything. And he spends the next 30 years fighting in the Great Crusade with the Emperor. 30 years of them just fighting back to back, setting up the Imperium, going on the Great Crusade, looking for the other Primarchs. And at this time, the Emperor actually saves Horus while they're fighting back to back on one planet. Really dope. But Horus returns the favor another time, where he saved him from the orc with the biggest cojones I have ever heard of. Tackles the Emperor and, no joke, tries to throttle him to death. Can you imagine? Just some boy, like, let me see this 14-foot glowing golden demigod, and then just who can erase me with his brain, and I'm going to choke him.
Orcs be crumpin'.
So Horus cut his arm off and killed it, saved his life. So after those 30 years were up, he starts getting reunited with the Primarchs. The first one was Leman Russ, which he was super excited about and immediately disappointed with. Because Leman Russ is a primitive, and he grew up on a world with firearms and technology. So, yeah. But to all the Primarchs throughout the Great Crusade, Horus had a deep bond with pretty much all of them. Him and his brother Sanguinius were closest by far. And if I could sum them up in so many words, Horus is your best friend who will go to the bar, he'll drink with you, and when you start acting like a jerk, he's got your back in the fight. Now, Sanguinius is your best friend, he'll go to the bar, he'll drink with you, but if you start acting like a jerk, he's going to call you on it because he knows it's for your own good. So that's why some liked Horus more, and he was everybody's friend. He also, if I can talk about the way he had his tactics, you know so much about the Black Legion, correct?
Well,
but what do you know about the Luna Wolves?
Nothing. They were in our featured Space Marine segment a couple weeks ago.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Yes. So the Luna Wolves were Horus's Legion. They were the 16th Legion. I believe the 16th Legion. Google that for me real quick. It's always Roman numerals, and I hate it. It's XVI, if I believe so. 16? Maybe got the I's confused. Anyway, 16th Legion. Luna Wolves were handed over to them, and they were okay with them. They were pretty happy because, they got the first Primarch. These boys, the way that Horus led them, a lot of that Hive City scum gang dude fighting style started to take over. But it worked because they didn't grow up on like primitive worlds like Space Wolves or say the Dark Angels who had blades. They grew up with gunfights and fighting with their fists. So this is the whole planet, boys and girls. Everyone there is wiry, strong, mentally tough, and used to firefights on a daily basis. Perfect gene stock for Space Marines. And reflected in the Luna Wolves. They had the highest success rate out of every single Space Marine. They fought in a very highly adaptive way that Most people will say the Space Marines are of the Luna Wolves and the Ultramarines were the same, Black Legion, Luna Wolves, they're just the chaosy Ultramarines. But they have one small distinction. Whereas both of these Space Marine Legions are, be prepared for anything and fight good at anything, the Luna Wolves would go in hard and fast, adapt to the strategy mid-battle, and then come at you across the board evenly, and then send in Horus and his Terminators somewhere. Is essentially they get you. You're matching them up. You're like, oh man, maybe we can hold them. And then next thing you know, your backfield has got a bunch of Terminators and a Primarch in it. I know that's how you like to play.
It is.
Pretty much. And as the Great Crusade progressed, Horus was just like the older brother for all the other Primarchs. They loved him. Absolutely loved him. He had this insane charisma. And how would I say this? He liked playing the diplomat a little bit. Every time he took a planet, he would essentially go to them and be like, what is your custom? What is the way you do things? And then he'd be like, let's do that during our meet and greet and how you fight in the future. Eventually, this would lead to like the warrior lodges, the Boy Scout clubs that would infect all the Space Marine legions and leave some of them turning to chaos, going against the Emperor's teachings of science and knowledge for everyone, open doors. Horus and his boys were more like, do you, be special, behind closed doors. So, hoard what you have in a bushel.
Yeah, and then the ones that had that were turned toward demon worship or chaos worship and heresy were allowed to fester.
Yeah, and then we go to the Battle of Ulanor, the culmination of the Great Crusade and the takedown of the biggest orc empire ever known to Imperial records ever by far. Horus literally tackles the war boss out of I imagine it like Sauron's tower, just tackles him out the window, fights him, and then just crashes into the ground. And the Emperor's like, You're the king now. You're the boss. Here's the captain's hat. And Horus takes over as Warmaster. And at this point, the Emperor actually tells him, you should name your guys the Sons of Horus. That way you can separate yourself and show the other Primarchs that you mean business, that you are the top dog, that you're in charge, but you're not separate from them, but you are in charge. Well, he actually didn't. He turned that down. He didn't want to be removed from the other Primarchs, which kind of didn't work. They still thought him turning that down. It's weird. A lot of the Primarchs were like, "Oh, we love it. You're the best. You need to be him. You need to be the guy in charge." Some were like, "You're in charge." We agree because that's our duty. Those were like Gilliman and Dorn, the Lion.
Well, good clones follow orders.
Exactly. But then you had guys like Lehman Russ and the Lion who were just like, I hate you, but I respect you. It should have been me, but whatever. And then you had Angron, Mortarion, the Night Haunter, who were just like, we're crappy people, so we're not going to be happy with any decision. And then Horus started, having his workplace problems that you know about right before Davin, My brothers, half of them are crazy, half of them don't listen to me, and the other half are kind of up their own clout.
Is it at this point that Erebus starts to talk to him?
Yeah, he gets a boy hanging out with him named Erebus.
And he is the word bearer guy. Which they found this...
Lorgar, Primarch of the Word Bearer, sent him to corrupt Horus because he had fallen to chaos.
Yeah, so Lorgar
was mad.
Had found this planet, though, right?
Yep.
Where they were worshiping chaos, and then they were allowed to continue to do their cult thing.
Yes.
By Horus's decree.
But yeah. A little bit. See, Lorgar was mad at the Emperor for giving him a spanking, so he went looking for somebody else to worship, found the Chaos Gods, and was like, we need to tell everybody. Let's start with Horus. So he sends Erebus. Erebus takes him to Davin, He gets shanked with a knife, gets corrupted by chaos, and that's when...
Hold on. Horus gets shanked or Erebus got shanked?
Horus gets shanked.
I see.
He has visions of the future where the Emperor is a golden god on a throne, and all of the humanity is just in the grimdark hating life. To prevent this, he turned traitor, which obviously he was lied to by the forces of chaos.
Was he?
He was.
A much more interesting debate.
I'm just saying, they said, you need to prevent this from happening, so you need to rebel, and it ended up causing it, man. So, and as we know, Magnus tried to save him by using his mind, Xavier magic. But then he was like, no, Magnus, you're a nerd. And Magnus tried to call the Emperor and broke his Webway project. Magnus gets in trouble. Horus goes traitor. Nobody really knows about Horus at first. And then we have the Istvan atrocity and then the drop site massacre. The 9/11, essentially, of the Space Marine Legions. Horus declares himself traitor, gets his traitor legions together. Magnus, thinking that Leman Russ and the Emperor are meanies for beating him up, join Chaos. And then him and all the other traitors go straight to Terra. Some of the other Primarchs were sent away by Horus because he's the Warmaster and they got to do what he says, not knowing he's Chaos, and were distracted. Horus goes to Terra, beats up on the Emperor, kills Sanguinius, and puts the Emperor on the world's biggest life support system. And then, Horus gets auto-deleted out of the universe.
Hold on. Yeah, what's that part about?
Which part?
We always focus so much on death of Sanguinius, mortal wounding of the Emperor.
Yep.
What happened to Horus?
Horus fought the Emperor. The Emperor fights him back. Seeing Sanguinius on the ground just totally wrecked wasn't 100% and this is up for debate because of new information.
Coming out in a new book soon, right?
I believe it already just came out, but I don't think that anyone had any revelations because, obviously the socials will be going nuts. But the Emperor sees Sanguinius on the floor, dead by Horus's hands, gets into a punch-up with Horus. Horus takes advantage of the fact that he is the loving firstborn son of the Emperor and proceeds to beat the tar out of him. Go back and listen to our Siege of Terra episode.
Part 2
of the Horus Heresy, so you can understand how badly he whipped him out. So, some guardsman jumps in front and saves the Emperor from a Horus psychic mind blast. And hats off to that dude, because no one knows who he is, really.
And he's super dead.
Oh, yeah, he is so dead. He is so unbelievably dead. Yeah. And then Horus, seeing how bad he murdered that guardsman, or not Horus, the Emperor, seeing how bad Horus murdered that guardsman, chooses to say, this is not my son. Psychic Kamehameha.
Oh, right. He psychic blasts him into a million tiny bits.
But not before he blasts all the chaos out.
Really?
Down on his knees, he's like, what have I done? How could this happen to me? I've made my mistakes. And he's like, you have to kill me. The Emperor says, I'm sorry this happened. Blasts him again, and he didn't just destroy his body. He destroyed his soul. So that in any case, if there's any chance of Chaos bringing them back, there isn't. Because we know Chaos love bringing their dudes back with some plot armor.
They do.
Any questions? Because I can talk about what happened after.
Yeah, let's talk about what happened after.
So this is pretty interesting. What happened after was, a lot of scattered debates. I'm going to summarize it the best that I can. Chaos Boys were just scoured from the far reaches of the galaxy. All of the Chaos Space Marines were sent into the Eye of Terror to live in the Eye of Terror or the Warp for all eternity. This was called the Scouring. They hunted them down like dogs. And then when they got there, the sons of Horus would bury Horus's remains or body. Like, I know I said it was deleted, but like I said, this is a little weird. And that's Horus's spirit talking. Horus's body is buried on a demon world. And that's when your boy, the son of Horus, the future father of the Black Legion, takes the reins. Who is this, Shane?
That would be Abaddon.
Abaddon the Despoiler. You see, after they buried him, a lot of the other traitor legions were pretty ticked off at the sons of Horus. Like, we're the reason you got sent to detention, sir. Why are you still alive? So they all attacked him at once. And I read a short story, like compilation, where it's like 5 different stories bouncing from the next to the next of different like sons of Horus at this time getting hunted down by like World Eaters and Death Guard and like Word Bearers. They're just like, you screwed us. We could have had it all. And it's pretty traumatic. And then finally, Abaddon says enough. Takes the reins and decides to take over the mantle of the Warmaster from Horus.
Now, how's he able to just unilaterally wield this power?
Oh, boy. And I want to save it for his video, but I'll summarize. He had that same charisma Horus had, essentially. All sons of Horus do. They had the customs of Chthoniya. They actually had the gene trait where they would slowly start to look like Horus over time. And a lot of people actually thought that with his large size and how similarly he looked, that Abaddon might be a clone of Horus. So, Abaddon, getting pretty ticked off the sons of Horus were getting blamed, and somebody stealing Horus's body to do dirty tricks, talking to you, Fabius Bile, he decides to destroy the body of Horus, take the reins, and pretty much just like, how would I say this? He kills every single leader who says they're in charge.
It's a tried and tested method.
And in the worst way. If he doesn't fight, if they don't attack him at first, he's like, let's become allies. We can fight everybody back. And then as soon as the guy turns his back, he puts a knife in him. And says, I'm the captain now. Takes over and denounces the sons of Horus, says that Horus was a failure and a loser, and that he would be the one to take down the Imperium and achieve their goals and spread chaos throughout the material universe.
There's also a thing going on with Abaddon where like Horus was working for chaos at arm's length.
Yeah.
And Abaddon is embraced by the Chaos Gods and not so actively corrupted in the way that Angron and Mortarion.
I'm going to stop you there because you got it backwards.
Yeah?
Horus kept it at arm's length for a time, but then eventually he drank the Kool-Aid. That's why he was almost as powerful or around there as the Emperor near the end.
I see.
Abaddon says that Horus is a failure, that he moved too fast, that he drank the Kool-Aid too much, and that he shouldn't have just chosen all of chaos and become its puppet, but he should work with it. So Abaddon keeps it at an arm's length, never choosing one god, never choosing one path, so that the Black Legion, as they are now called, take on all comers and are not just servants of one god or just the powers of chaos, but themselves and chaos.
Truly teamed up.
Yes. So the Black Legion is not just Horus's sons. It is any son of chaos that wishes to fight in the name of the Warmaster.
That's metal AF, bro.
I know, right?
Man.
It's so dope.
Next week we're going to talk about... you know what? Last week we did a top 5 list, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've got some ideas for top 5
I'm going to do
lists.
another top 5 next week.
Really?
I'm going to tease it now.
Okay, I thought you were going to go a different way with this.
No. Top 5 strategies to teach a new game.
Oh, okay.
And, of course, it is now time for our exclusive Space Marine segment.
Hit him with it, Shane.
Did you know that all of the good guy legions all the bad guy legions, I'm sorry, used to be good guy legions?
Of course I knew that.
Well.
We just spent 30 minutes talking about part of that.
I know. This
What?
has been our exclusive Space Marine segment.
Oh my gosh.